Good evening all, and welcome to a Thursday night distributor product training. My name is Cynthia Ndongo. I'm the host for tonight from Nairobi, Kenya. And I want to appreciate each and every one of us who's logged in from wherever you are, be it from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, all over Africa, our diaspora distributors and our guests as well. Feel free. And it's my privilege to be able to welcome none other than Betty Oloo, all the way from Pretoria, South Africa, so that she'll be able to share with us what she has prepared, her session on our joint and mobility health. And without wasting much time, so that we can also probably have time for an interactive session, I want to welcome Betty. Betty, can you hear me? I think there is a challenge there with the network. Betty, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Take it away. We are ready to learn.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm sorry about that, and it might happen again. We have got a power outage. So our current connection is not very good, but we hope it's going to hold out to the end. In any case, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us once again this evening. As always, it is our pleasure to spend this evening with you, doing training about our products as well as our business. And as you, wherever you might be logged in from, I want to give you a warm welcome. And as always, I hope that the session is going to be beneficial both for you and for all those within your circle of influence. As you might have seen in your invitation, my session for today is about joint and movement health. And of course, all of us as human beings, we are built to move and to move for long periods during the day. If you'll recall, our ancestors used to spend many hours during the day looking for food, hunting, socializing, and even escaping from danger. So movement is supposed to be a part of our day-to-day activity. And the thing that makes it possible for us to move is our joints. This is why we have joints, because if there were no joints, we would be as stiff as a robot. But because of our joints, we are able to move. And if we take good care of our joints, they are supposed to give us a lifetime ability of moving. And it is therefore of great importance that we understand and take care of our joints and our ability to move through both our lifestyle and our diets. Of course, these are the ones with which we are concerned in our Neolife training. And to start with, I wanted to mention a few things about lifestyle, because as I think we have mentioned before, and maybe for those who are joining us for the first time, a lot of our training is cyclic and we keep on mentioning the same thing over and over. So if you have not had this before, it will not be the only time you will hear it. So we always say that in Neolife, we are concerned about ensuring that our lifestyle and our diet is supporting our good health. And so one thing that we are becoming more and more aware of, both yourselves and myself, is that prolonged sitting has become a serious health to our danger, because we are not built to sit for these long periods. As I said in the introduction, we are built to move for long periods rather than to sit. And increasingly, we find that most people can do their daily work while sitting, which means that they can sit for the necessity to move is not actually there. But, and we see also that from an early stage, from our school years, we are trained to remain seated for long periods. And I'm sure you'll remember from your school days, your teacher saying, sit down and do your work. They never said stand up or walk around and do your work. So a good student or a good pupil was always seated down during the learning periods. And of course, we started to associate sitting down with being efficient and being acceptable. And today we find that prolonged sitting is seen not only as normal, but even as commendable. And this is because, of course, more and more as we advance technologically, we can do a lot without having to get up. This may be true, but unfortunately, our bodies have not changed with the changing of technology. We still need that movement because our good health still depends on moving as much as we were built to move. This means that for you and I, we have to be deliberate about incorporating movements into our lifestyle. And this is especially important if we have a sedentary job. So if our job involves long periods of sitting or does not require us to move around, then we have to be deliberate about incorporating movements into our day. If, on the other hand, you have an active job where you need to do a lot of activity, then of course it does not, it's not so much of a problem. And we notice that some of the problems that we now have that are chronic can actually be linked to a high or a moderate degree to prolonged periods of sitting. So, for example, a common problem like lower back pain or knee pain can actually be due to muscle imbalances that result from prolonged sitting, which causes certain muscles to become tight and other ones to become too loose. And most of our muscles are supposed to have strength that complements each other, so that if their strengths are complementary, they work well together. But if one set is very weak and the other one is very strong, it results in what is called muscle imbalance, and that leads to joint pain. So as I gave the example of knee pain or lower back pain. So an excellent example of something that we can incorporate in our lifestyle is walking, because walking is an excellent type of movement which we have evolved to use a lot, and it is also good as an exercise. It helps to maintain our health, and we should try to create opportunities for walking if this is not readily available in our day-to-day life. So we can do things like parking our car a little further than is convenient, so that it forces us to walk a little bit more than we would ordinarily. We can do some errands on foot if it is possible. We can do some outdoor activities like gardening or like hiking and so on to incorporate movements. And we can also, instead of taking the lift, we can opt for the stairs and so on. So it is very important that we try. Let's say we are too busy to set aside actual time to exercise. We should look for ways in which we can incorporate movement. Even in the office, we can, let's say you're on the phone, we can talk on the phone while standing or walking. We can, walking within the room, I mean. Of course, it might not be a safe idea to be distracted with the phone if you're doing something like driving or crossing the road. But as far as possible, the idea here is to incorporate walking where we can. Other things that we can that would help is, for example, if we were in our younger days, we were interested in a sport, we can see if we can continue to a certain degree with that sport. We can join a gym where it is possible, or we can have hobbies, as I said, like hiking or gardening or something else of that kind. And we can also find what is available within our lifestyle to help us to sustain this ability to move. Because the less we move, the less we feel willing to move. So we have to be deliberate initially, but it eventually becomes a habit and it also becomes easier. So we also have what is called non-exercise movement, which is built into our day. So for example, things that are to do with our work, like cleaning around the house, like sweeping outside, like going shopping, all these are activities that to some degree we can ensure that they involve movement. So why am I so emphatic about walking and movement in general? This is because the benefits of movement go beyond our joints and our skeleton. There are many benefits. I will mention a few now. And here I'm not talking about vigorous exercise or a very high degree of sports. I'm simply speaking about something like walking or jogging or maybe swimming or things like that. So gentle exercise after a meal, for instance, going for a walk, helps our digestion and can limit the amount of fat we store from our meal. So a good habit can be to eat our meal earlier so that it leaves us some time to spend still being gently active, not overactive or vigorously active. And this can help us to maintain a healthy body weight. Of course, these days we are always talking about a healthy body weight because more and more it is being discovered that a high body weight or an excessive increase in body weight is linked to quite a number of health challenges. So by incorporating gentle exercise around our meals, we can actually help to maintain a healthy body weight. And then another thing is that movement improves our blood circulation. And by improving our circulation, it is going to support the health of our heart, which is a muscle, and it's also going to support the health of our joints, because as we move our joints, we find that that is how the nourishment and the cleaning of the joint takes place. So by moving, we enhance the flexibility of our joint. And if a joint has been maybe damaged to a certain degree, more and more now they are recommending that we don't immobilize the joint, but rather whenever possible and as far as possible to keep the joint able to move, because that facilitates the bringing in of the nutrients that are required to heal the joint and taking away of the byproducts that come from metabolism. Then the third benefit is that movement improves our metabolism. And sorry, I think I mentioned that already, that it helps us to maintain a healthy weight. And it also helps us to strengthen our muscles and bones, because what the body does is that if we put a demand on it, then it rises to meet the demand. But if the demand is low, then it makes less and less effort. And that is why you see, for example, people who are very active when they were younger, maybe they were sports people, as they become more busy and do less of the activities and less sports, they become less and less fit and less able to do the things they could do before. And that is because we need to keep on using this ability in order to maintain it and to sustain it. The less we move, the more we are going to lose our ability to move, or we are going to be limited in our ability to move. Then the fourth thing I wanted to mention, which is sometimes overlooked, is flexibility. Flexibility is an important aspect of movement. And we find that as we age, we become stiffer. And sometimes we can be so focused on fitness and we neglect flexibility. But we should incorporate in our movement exercises that actually facilitate and enhance our flexibility so that our joints are able to move through the whole range which they are supposed to be able to move. And if we do not do this, then we may be fit, but we will be quite stiff. And with time, we find that movement becomes limited and the scope through which our joints can operate lessens. So flexibility exercises are also important. And then the last one I wanted to mention here is exercises such as jumping rope or using the trampoline. So these ones are beneficial in maintaining balance, coordination, as well as bone density. And these are three things that tend to deteriorate also as we age. So you notice that as we grow older, or if you observe the older people, we tend to be a bit having the tendency to lose our balance or to be afraid of losing our balance. And this is why older people tend to fall down and it can cause some serious injury. These types of exercise also helps in coordination and also in maintaining bone density, which works against things like osteoporosis, because when our bones are dense, they are stronger and less brittle and therefore less likely to break. So having spoken at length about our lifestyle side of things, let me now move on to our Neolife supplements. I'm going to mention quite a number of them, which does not mean we have to recommend all of them to anyone who comes to us, but I will mention them in terms of how they can help. And then from there, we can decide what to recommend. So the first one I wanted to mention is the Neolife Shake or the NutriShake, which is our protein supplement. And as we know, our bones, our skeletons, muscles, and joints, all the tendons and the ligaments and so on, are mainly made of proteins. And protein is what Neolife Shake is going to supply. So this is a supplement that gives us a broad range of amino acids, which our body can then use to make its own proteins, one of which is collagen. I know we have had a lot of interest in collagen, but just to inform you that by using Neolife Shake, our body is going to have all the material that it needs to build human collagen to use within our body. It can use them for building, and it can use them for repairing, it can use them for strengthening, because as we've seen, the more we demand of our skeleton, the more our body rises up to meet that demand. So we would then supply our body with what it needs, good quality proteins in our diets, and supplementing with Neolife Shake when necessary. Then the second one I want to mention is omega-3 salmon oil, which we know very well is our fish oil preparation made from salmon oil. And this is a very potent supplement which works against inflammatory response. And inflammation can be the result of injury, it can be the result of illness. So for instance, if we are maybe playing a sport or some exercise or some accident, we can have an injury, and our body's first response and the first step of repairing that injury would be inflammation. Unfortunately, the inflammation causes pain and sometimes can be prolonged. For example, if we have got an autoimmune condition like lupus, then we can find that the inflammation stays for prolonged periods. And omega-3 salmon oil plays the role of helping the body to resolve the inflammation, because the inflammation is only supposed to be there for the initial stages of repairing an injury. It's not supposed to be continuously there. So the omega-3 salmon oil is going to help the body to resolve that stage of inflammation, and then the swelling and pain is going to go down. So of course, we know that omega-3 salmon oil, apart from being useful in our joint health, is also useful in our blood health and in our brain health and so on. So by supplementing with omega-3 salmon oil, we'll be giving our body what it needs to fix quite a number of different problems in different organ systems. Then I move on to multimineral alfalfa. Also here I will include another mineral preparation that we have, which is CalMag. And just to mention once again that multimineral also contains CalMag, but CalMag does not contain multimineral. So multimineral has a broader spectrum of minerals in it. CalMag contains only calcium and magnesium, which are very important minerals for the building of bone and blood. So these mineral preparations and supplements are going to be very important as supplements for ensuring that our bodies are able to maintain strong bones and healthy joints. So as you know, although the bones look as if they are dead material, the bones are actually living, and our bodies are continuously chewing off dead bone and laying down new bone. So even though it seems as if our bones are not living, actually they are living. And so to supply our body with the multiminerals and the other minerals that we require is going to ensure that we have what it needs to lay down new bone. And that is why, for instance, the young people we recommend who are growing very fast, we recommend that they use multimineral. We recommend it for older people who are beginning to have some problems with the strength of their bones. Then another one here, number 4, is going to be Full Motion, which is our supplement for providing the raw materials for repairing and rebuilding the cartilage. Cartilage is a slippery white material that is found on the heads of bones. and it plays an important role in keeping the bone flexible and moving smoothly, but sometimes it can become damaged and deteriorate. For example, when one is suffering from certain kinds of arthritis. So full motion gives the body what it needs to rebuild cartilage when it has broken down or has been damaged, and thereby ensures that the joint is able to return to its full range of motion. So full motion, another one, very important for sports people, for older people, and for anyone who wants to ensure that their joints are in good working condition. Then I want to add a few vitamins to our list, one of which is vitamin B complex, which is important for energy production, but also for joint health. It is important in helping us when maybe we are under the weather and being a bit depressed. It has been found to be a mood improver, and also it supports the production of blood. So vitamin B complex, also another one very important that we can recommend for people who want to boost their energy production, or people, expectant ladies, and also maybe people who are, especially people maybe who have a vegetarian lifestyle and may be struggling a little bit with depression or having mood disorders of different kinds. Vitamin B can be helpful for that. Then let me mention vitamin D, or vitamin A plus D. Although in many parts of our continent, of course, we can easily get vitamin A plus D, vitamin D from exposing ourselves to sunshine, because our skins are able to make vitamin D when it is exposed to the sun. But I usually mention that if you are going to be in the sun and you want your skin to be able to make vitamin D, then you need to expose your skin to the sun. So if you are wearing dark glasses and a hoodie, a long-sleeved hoodie and trousers and boots, then the sun might not be able to find you. So if you want your skin to make vitamin D, then it's a good idea to maybe put on a short-sleeved shirt and maybe short trousers, and that way enough of the skin surface will be exposed, and that way your skin will be able to make the vitamin D. On the other hand, if this is not easily available for you, then we also have a vitamin D supplement. There is one that is vegan, that is, it's made not using any animal products, if someone has a problem with that. Then we have another one that I wanted to mention is vitamin C, because vitamin C, apart from the many things we know that vitamin C does, it helps in the making of collagen. So remember I say that the body uses the amino acids from our Neolife shake or our Nutri-Shake to make collagen. One of the nutrients that are required to facilitate that process is vitamin C. Of course, vitamin C does many other things, as we know, but in the case of our joint and movement health, it helps in laying down, making the collagen that we need for strong tendons and ligaments, as well as, of course, for our skin. All of these tissues are made using large amounts of collagen. So then I want to finish by mentioning magnesium. Magnesium, we have recently added the standalone magnesium supplement, and it is a very useful one. It helps to ease muscle soreness, and it also helps to support good sleep quality. So if you're a person who goes to bed and is able to sleep, but after a short time you wake up, then one of the things you can try is magnesium. If you're someone who maybe after some exercise or sports you are having soreness in your body, then magnesium can help there. So these are some of the supplements I wanted to share with you that can play a role in our joint health. And I have 1 or 2 minutes left, so I have the question that is relevant here. Someone wanted to know about the 2 different types of arthritis, the osteoarthritis and the rheumatoid arthritis, because sometimes someone might have one kind or the other, and it's good to have an idea about them. The supplements that we use for them are more or less the same, but the illnesses themselves are not identical. So osteoarthritis is the result of the wearing down of cartilage as a result of age or as a result of some imbalance in the joint, which makes the joint move in a faulty way. So when a joint is not moving correctly in its along its range of movement, then it grinds at certain places. And when it does that, then in those places, the cartilage is going to start wearing down. This is especially common in the knees and also the ankles. And if you're a person who plays a sport like golf, you may find that it affects the shoulders, while people who play tennis may find that it affects the elbows. So whatever the case, osteoarthritis is linked with the wearing down of cartilage. And with our Neolife products, what we can recommend is full motion, which I already mentioned, gives us what we need to repair the cartilage over time. We also recommend omega-3 salmon oil to deal with the inflammation, or we can recommend ProVitality, which contains omega-3 salmon oil as well as carotenoid complex, threonine, and multi. And in addition to that, we would recommend CalMag. So those for osteoarthritis. Then rheumatoid arthritis is a different type of arthritis. It's an autoimmune condition. And as we have mentioned before, autoimmune conditions is when our immune system, which is supposed to protect us, makes a mistake and starts attacking our body tissues. And in the case of rheumatoid arthritis, it attacks the joints and causes a lot of inflammation, especially small joints like the ones in the fingers and the wrists. And here, the important thing is to get to the root of the autoimmune problem. And we would recommend that we use full motion and ProVitality, because in ProVitality, we have got omega-3, which is going to help with the inflammation that is associated with rheumatoid arthritis. And also the carotenoid complex is going to help with settling down the immune system. We would also add their multimineral, and we would add Acidophilus Plus, because sometimes the autoimmune problems originate from the gut. And I'm aware that not all of our markets have got Acidophilus. As usual, if you do not have Acidophilus in your market, then I recommend that you use fiber tablets and any fermented food that comes from your cultural foods. And this would give you some of the friendly bacteria that are going to help with your immune system, because the friendly bacteria in our large intestine actually play an important role in our immune system, and it can help in resolving autoimmune conditions. Another thing is with rheumatoid arthritis, it is important to be observant and to identify and avoid whatever triggers the flaring up of the rheumatoid attacks. Okay, so I see that my time is up, and I see that someone has their hands up. As I said, during these sessions, we usually don't have as much time as all that, so we don't take questions, but what we always recommend is that you can send your question by WhatsApp, and we can either have a conversation about it, or I can send you an answer if it is something straightforward. So now let me thank you very much for your time and for your attention this evening. I hope that the session has been clearly audible and that you have found much that is beneficial for yourself as well as for your family and your distributors and your circle of influence. And now let me hand you over to Pascal, who is standing by to take you through the next session. Thank you very much. And here is Pascal now.
Thank you very much, Betty. Philemona Liatu has raised their hand. I think if you have a question about the products, I would recommend that send your question by WhatsApp so that your question can be addressed either sometime during the week or during the next session when Betty is doing a Q&A session. So what I wanted to discuss with you today are two things that helps our business to grow. How do we earn money from our business? Or what is the essence of our business? The essence of our business is we move the products from the company to different customers or different users, including ourselves, because we are users of the products ourselves. So what is the main thing that we need to do to be able to move products from the company to different users? If you will permit me, I want to share the screen with you. Okay. The first thing I would like to discuss is how to retail products. What does that mean? That we want the products to move from us to different users of the products. Retailing products simply means selling products. And I know a lot of people, when they join the business or when they start the business, they may make a comment like, I'm not very good at selling. That may be true, but everything you're doing, you're selling. Either you're selling an idea, you're selling yourself, you're selling your services. I mean, if you're married, you sold yourself to your spouse and your spouse accepted what you're selling yourself. So we need to be very comfortable with this idea that selling is a natural way of living. Selling is part of life. And no business occurs until something is sold. In fact, I read the other day, I read something about a gentleman called Peter Daniels. If you look at the last 6,000 years of recorded history, what is the one engine that has kept commerce going? What is the one thing that people do that has made business possible? What is the one thing that we all do that has made a relationship with people possible? It is selling. Because you're either selling an idea, you're selling a product, you're selling a service or something. So selling is a very important aspect of our life and our business. So what are the main things that you need to have to retail products effectively? That means to develop a customer base. One, you need to have a product knowledge. I think Betty did a fantastic job on the product. The more you know about the products, the easier it is to recommend products to people. And I mean, for example, if you are in a group, friends, relatives, neighbors, and you're chatting, two things that will come in during those conversations, either lack of money or poor health. Those two things always feature in discussion. For example, when you hear somebody saying that, I've had high blood pressure for such a long time, and I've been taking high blood pressure medication for such a long time, and I'm just tired of it. That's an opportunity for you to start a discussion and ask, oh, by the way, how long have you had this? Have you been taking high blood pressure medication? They will tell you. Build a conversation, as when you think that the time is right, then you can tell them, oh, by the way, maybe I think I have a solution for you that will help with your high blood pressure. It could be high blood pressure, it could be diabetes, whatever it is, it could be anything. But product knowledge helps you to start a conversation, and that leads to the next item, is listening to people. Listening to people is an art. Listening is a very, very powerful tool for you to connect with people. I remember the other day, I had a problem with my phone and I took it to Vodacom. And when I was being served, the lady asked me many questions, and suddenly I realized this young lady is actually listening to what I am saying. And it gave me the urge to actually give my business to Vodacom. So listening is an art. Listening is a skill that if you develop, you're going to create a very large network of customers. The other thing about retailing products is keep in touch with the customers. Find out what they're doing, give them a call regularly so that you are in touch with them. When they think about spending money, they think about you. Then get to know your customers. Get to know something about them. Sometimes just call them and don't ask them anything about products. Just find out how they're doing, their families and all that. If you do that, you're creating a customer base, you're creating friendship with the people who buy products from you. And that's how you build a customer base. That's how you retail products to customers. The second thing is a personal touch. A personal touch simply means that, in this modern age of high tech connectivity, digital technology, it's very easy to lose our human touch. So keep personal touch at the fore of your mind to be able to keep your customers going. One of them is enthusiasm. Nobody, let me repeat this. Everybody is looking for somebody who is enthusiastic about life, because nobody wants to be associated with people who are not excited about living. Enthusiasm goes a very long way to help your business to grow and to connect you with your customers. Ask questions and listen. You know, if there's something called the dialogue of the deaf. When you hear two people arguing or discussing, before one replies, the other one is already making preparation to answer back. That's not the way of listening. Listening is an art. Listening is something you do actively by asking questions and listening to the answers. If you do that, you will find that you connect yourself with people very well. Excuse me. Then keeping records. Keeping records is important because you get to know when the customer has bought products, when they may need the next consignment of products. So keep records of your customers. Give literature to your customers. I remember Alta Bolton used to say, where literature goes, products flow. So if you give literature to your customers, offer them an incentive. If you refer me to one customer, I'll give you the next product at a discount, something like that. Keep literature flowing. Develop a smile. You know, smiling is, you spend more energy when you frown than when you smile. When you started the business, I used to listen to a tape, and this guy said, frowning takes 64 muscles and smiling takes 16. You feel better when you smile. In fact, try smiling and having a scowling face. You can't do those two things at the same time, okay? And then use the customer's name often. Sorry, this should have been, use the customer's name often. Why do you do that? So that you can keep the customer's name in your memory. When the customer knows that you know their name well and you keep talking to them in their first name or the second name, you create a bond between yourself and your customer. And that's how you develop good customer base. So that is, in essence, is what those are the few ideas I'd like to share you about retailing products. It's an art, but at the same time, you need to keep relationship with your customers going. Always ask your customers for referrals. And when they give you referrals, thank them for it. Because they lead you to another customer and another customer, and eventually you'll have a very large customer base. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you is inviting and showing the business. Inviting is called the gateway to network marketing. Of all the 7 skills that will really, really make a difference in your business is inviting. How to invite people to look at our business or our products. It's a gateway to network marketing. It's a gateway for your business to become successful. Okay? Inviting. You are looking for people who are looking. I think the reason why Betty and I took 2 days to decide and start the business is because we were looking. We are looking for something to do that would not require so much, a lot of financial investment, but something which we could do from home without leaving the whatever we are engaged in. So what you're doing is actually you're looking for people who are looking. But what is the goal? The goal is education and understanding. You see, when people sense that you want to recruit them, they tend to pull back. But when you educate them and give them understanding of your products or your opportunity, they're likely to come and join the business, become business builders like you. So the goal of inviting is educating and understanding. How do you do that? Ask the right questions. It's called a qualifying questions. A very important thing about prospecting is asking questions. And asking questions will lead you to know whether the person is rightful for the business or not. It's important to ask qualifying questions. There are a number of, excuse me, there are a number of things that are important to have effective invitation. One, you need to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. What does that mean? It means that you need to decide in your mind that I'm going to invite this person. Whether they say yes or no, that's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to invite them properly to look at our business or our products. So detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. Number two, be yourself. Be yourself simply means don't act different from what you normally are. And that means you need to develop, excuse me, you need to develop an attitude of being sincere and be yourself. The third thing is you need to be enthusiastic. And being enthusiastic simply means you're excited about life. It means you're doing something that you enjoy. Being enthusiastic means it's directing energy to show your prospects or your potential customer what the business is. Be bold and confident. Having a posture simply means that at the back of your mind, you're saying to your prospects, I don't care whether you join my business or not. That is being bold and confident, excuse me. That's being bold and confident. So having a posture is very important because it gives you a lot of confidence when you speak to prospects. Now, what is the inviting formula? One, be in a hurry, either on the phone or you meet somebody one-on-one. Number two, compliment the prospect. Complimenting the prospect means you've identified something about them that you admire or like, and that it has to be sincere compliment. If it's somebody you don't know, then don't compliment them because it will appear funny. If it's somebody you've just met, start a discussion, and as you pick up something about them, compliment them sincerely. Then make the invite. Make the invite by mentioning, let me say you are speaking to somebody and you want them you want to invite them to watch a video. And you tell them, by the way, I'm running a business. I don't know if you're open to it or not. If I send you a video, would you watch it? They will say, yes, I can watch it. And no. Most people will say, yes, I will watch it. Then ask them again, so if I send you a video now, when do you think you will watch it? The reason why you put it that way is so that they can commit to watching the video instead of you telling them, can you watch it tomorrow or today, whatever it is. So ask them the question so that they come. What you're doing when you ask them a question like that is that they began thinking, okay, maybe I can watch it today or tomorrow. If they told you, okay, I can watch it tomorrow morning, confirm the meeting or confirm what they're going to do. So by asking, so if I call you tomorrow at 2 o'clock, you will have watched the video or whatever it is. They will say yes or no. If they say yes, okay. So tomorrow at about 2 o'clock, I am going to call you so that we discuss what is next step about what we do. You ask those questions that way so that the prospect can commit themselves at least 3 times that they're going to watch the video at a specific time, and they should expect you to call back to discuss what they have watched. That is the inviting formula. I would suggest that you need to make time to read the chapter on GoPro called the inviting formula. It's a very important skill to develop in our business because it helps you to grow the business. It's a gateway for network marketing. Then the other thing I wanted to discuss with you is how to present the business. How do you present the business? I remember when we started in this business, we used to go for speaker training. Speaker training is when you've reached a certain level in the business. I remember you are a director before you'd be able to do presentations. There are four parts of presenting the business. The first is tell your story. It's called ID. Who are you? When did you join the business, and what has the business done for you? How do you see the future? The 4 things that you need to do in ID should take not more than 3 to 4 minutes. Number 1, what you're doing before you join the business. Number 2, how you came to join the business. Number 3, what benefit have you achieved in the business? Number 4, how do you see the future? For example, I'd say my name is Pascal Oloo. I am trained as a civil engineer. And before I joined this business, Betty and I were looking for a way to generate extra income because our family was growing, but my salary was not growing at the same rate as the increase in cost of living. And that really frustrated me. So I thought of doing bookkeeping or doing so many different things to earn additional income. That's when Betty's friend called her and asked her if she'd like to do a business, because Betty's friend also knew that one of our children had a condition that required attention. So Betty went for a meeting, and when she came back, I could see she was very excited. And it took us 2 days to decide. And when I saw the idea about the business, I became very, very excited. I didn't sleep for 3 days because I thought about all the people I knew whom I was going to share this business with. And I remember our first income was about $3. After 7 months of doing the business, our income reached $1,000. And that's when I became very serious about the business. What has the business done for me? It has allowed me to resign my job and become a full-time business person, and also to be a full-time father. And so that I would watch my children grow up, or my children would see us working from home as a team. And the future of this business is so bright because there are very many people around the world who are looking for something to do that they can do part-time or full-time. Now, that has taken me 2.5 minutes. That's the way to do your ID. So the first part of presentation is you do your ID. The next part is develop the need for the business. That is, you need to bring to the attention of the prospect that they need the business. Talk about large jobs in security, low income, the possibility that the world's that the cost of living keeps going up, but our income is not increasing at the same time. The third part of presenting the business is called the logic. The logic is explaining how the business works. Using the products, sharing the business and sharing the products, and number 3, personal development. That is the logic of our business. That is what people do to grow the business. And then the last part of the presentation is called a call to action. Once they've seen the business, what is the next step? What do they need to do to become successful? That's why we end up by telling people the next thing you need to do, you need to have a dream, you need to work hard, you need to be teachable, you need to have faith, you need to have patience. Go back to the person who invited you, they will show you how to get started. That is what we mean by call to action. So those are the 4 elements that you need to have when you're presenting the business presentation, or when you're presenting the business idea to new prospects. And that comes from practice. The more you practice, the better you become. If you're new in the business, I would suggest to you practice, practice, practice. I remember when we started, the first time I did a presentation, we got a guideline from our leaders, Hansi Kronier, and I started practicing. I asked Betty to be my first prospect. I did the presentation. It was at home, and I took an old calendar and I turned it at the back and I began to draw circles. The first one I did, and said, I didn't understand anything. If I was your guest, I wouldn't join your business. That gave me the drive to keep on practicing, and I practiced so many times. Within 2 months, I was able to do a presentation to a large group of people. That's how our business grows. So practice all the time. And the more you practice, the better you become. And the better you become, the more confident you are. The more confident you are, the more your business will grow. There's a saying in our business that says, he who holds the pen earns the most amount of money. And that's true. The people who show the business, the most people are the ones who become very successful in the long term. So I want to thank all of you very much for spending your time with Betty and myself. And I wish you, we're in the middle of September, and work on your goals for the month until you achieve all your goals by the end of this month. I see Aisha Omar and Angao have raised their hands. I don't know whether there's an issue. Paul Moto has also raised their hand. Paul, can you hear me? Oh, Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Pascal. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an issue because I saw there's some hands going up. So, Cynthia, thank you so much. I really appreciate you hosting us this evening. And I hope to see some of you taking the next steps in the business. So thank you very much. Good night and God bless all of you.